Millions of Americans are in poverty. Although it has been an issue for America since its beginning, it has been on the decline. From 45 million in 2015 to 36 million in 2023, that's a 9 million difference. But looking at the big picture, you might notice that the 36 million I just referenced is actually over 10% of the US population. Of course, that is only the average in all of America. Some places can be as low as 7%, like in New Hampshire, or as high as 20%, like in Louisiana. That is still a lot of people. If you were to put 30 people from Louisiana in a room, the first thing you would notice is that 6 of those 30 people are in poverty. Replace that room with a classroom, change them out for students, add a teacher, and you have the topic for this video. Today, I will be talking about students, poverty, and the education system. Millions of American students go to school every single day. Over 10% of those students live in a world of poverty. Their situation causes many educational problems at school. Why is this the case? Well, poverty hinders a student's education. The Ontario Association of Children's Aid Societies lists many ways poverty impacts children's lives. For example, toxic stress. Toxic stress is any type of stress that persists over a long period of time. This can negatively impact early brain development, developing mental health issues and behavioral problems. I've compiled a list of these problems here, and if you compare it to a list of reasons why students fall behind in school, you might find a trend. Most of the reasons why students fall behind in school are suspiciously similar to the effects of poverty. Reasons like stress and trauma, health and physical problems, and overemphasis on testing and grades are from poverty itself. The National Association of Secondary School Principals came to the same conclusion in their article about poverty in the education system. They argue that poverty negatively impacts students in a variety of different factors. There are often symptoms of poverty. These factors often place more stress on the student, which can negatively impact the student's ability to succeed in a school. This goes to show that poverty has a connection to student success in school, making them more likely to fall behind in class. That's not all though. The NASSP adds to the article, mainly saying that the system we use to fund schools favors schools in low poverty areas. This decreases the value of education someone could get in a school in a high poverty area. High poverty schools are not getting a fair share of state and local funds. This often leaves schools with limited budgets to address a multitude of issues. This flaw in the system compounds the issue of poverty even more, spiraling into disaster. Let me paint you a picture of this spiral. You were born in a poor family who lives in a poor area. You lack the resources to get a good education because your parents and your school don't have enough money to get you these important resources. You eventually leave high school and find a job with horrible working conditions and a horrible salary. It's the only job you can find with the education you have, so you get stuck in the job for years. You barely make it through each and every day. Eventually you have kids, only to see the same events unfold for your children. You realize that this only happened because you were born into poverty. The education system we have today in America hurts individuals who are in poverty, setting them up for a phenomenon called the poverty cycle. The poverty cycle is the phenomenon where kids who are born into poverty stay in poverty for generations. It is only caused by events that prevent families from getting the resources they need to survive, which is exactly what our education system does today. The good news is that people can escape the cycle of poverty, but it's not an easy task. People in poverty need an outside source to provide the resources they need in order to escape poverty. The problem is relying on other people to help people in need is unreliable. So escaping the poverty cycle is nearly impossible. Nearly impossible. There's one public service that increases people's odds of escaping poverty, and that is education. Education gives poverty-stricken families the best chance to escape poverty, since education is a long-term solution that provides the most opportunities to get the resources they need to escape poverty. But as I said earlier, the education system is messy and biased. Children in poverty are at a disadvantage at learning in school, not only because of the education system, but also the effects of poverty themselves. The system just doesn't provide enough resources for poor communities in need of resources. Students in poverty who get stuck behind in class have almost no hope of getting back. The poverty cycle keeps these families trapped in a jail of poverty poverty for generations, torturing millions of Americans year after year. But do we really want to live in this reality? Why can't we change the world to help those people prosper? We can. And there are many actions we can take. Actions like donating to charities that fight poverty, like Habitat for Humanity International, or donating resources to schools in need. There are so many other ways to fight for this cause, but focusing on education provides the key to free families in need. Just sharing this video spreads awareness to others. Overall, poverty is an important issue in America that affects way too many people. These people get stuck in a loop trying to survive, but most of them can't escape without help. The best way to stop this from happening is to provide a good education to students in poverty. We need providing the resources they need to survive. The only way to accomplish this goal, however, is to work together, or else we might just lose 10% of our America. Goodbye.